Manufacturer's instructions on B vent, everything's printed on the B vent itself. But once you get up through the wall and into the attic, you can actually go back to round and out into the flashing, because they don't make an oval flashing. This is some of the stuff that we come up with that, you know, they tried to take the mobile home furnace and install it. Well, actually, this is the wall furnace. They took a piece and converted it back to round. So, you know, this is some of the stuff that's wrong out there. Here's some of the other stuff that we're always looking at. I need to move this thing. It keeps popping up. Hang on a second. All right. I think anybody who went through my combustion for contractor class will get to see this one here. They went down here at Home Depot and bought it. They also bought a bunch of tape because they knew what was going to happen with that elbow if you just left it there in the wind. Well, tape it up so it don't swing. Here's some other stuff. It's an actual turbine vent, attic vent. Again, Jim Bob. I'm gonna go with Dave here on this one. Jim Bob's out there. Uncle Joe's retired, so now we got to deal with Jim Bob. The sad thing about this is an actual turbine vent that should be on the roof for attic venting. There are some manufacturers actually out there that make a turbine power vent that goes on top of the chimney that is made and manufactured for it, but this is not one of them. A little cheaper, no motor. I show this one because this is, well, actually, it's now a bicycle shop, but this is an actual house that I worked on down over here in Athens, Ohio. They called up and said they're, and actually, this was an old gravity furnace too, so it had all the kind of problems. But as soon as I walked up to the house, this is the first thing I did is took a picture and then I explained to him why that shouldn't have been there. And then I explained to him that that old gravity furnace wasn't very good. So this ended up to be a 90+ install. It made the house a lot more safer. And again, these are just pictures right around here in Athens, Ohio. This is a fraternity house uptown. This is an example that I use in the class all the time. It's an all brick building. Why is there a problem only where the chimney is? Does anybody answer that? Now, most generally people say it's from the rain. Well,
dancing inside the chimney.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with rain, does it?
No.
This is where the exhaust gases, the chimney's too big and the exhaust gases can't get out. Before they can get out, they actually condense back into moisture and it's eating the chimney away. I don't see anything wrong over here. Don't see anything wrong over here, but right there. What was that movie, Tommy Boy? Is there anything right here? All right, I'll move on. This is just a bigger example. Has nothing to do with the flashing to where this is leaking right here. And that's a common problem out there. The roofers get called in because there's a leak around the chimney. They come out and they charge a bunch of money. It doesn't get fixed because they called the wrong person. They should have called the heating guy. And in most cases, some of the heating guys had no idea what this was doing here. This has been a big problem. Again, let's call the chimney guy out, Jim Bob's brother, Billy Bob. Let's fix that moisture problem from the rain and put a cap on it. Well, did the cap work? I don't think so. Now, again, this with the mortar missing, this is not because of the weather on the outside of the house. This is the weather that's on the inside. And the main reason is they put a cap on it. They put a piece of single wall pipe up here. This pipe does not line the chimney all the way down. It just stops right there. So all the flue gases inside there are trying to go up that little pipe, and they're condensing. And flue gas, when it condenses back to moisture, is a little bit of acidic. So it's eating the mortar joints away. That's exactly why your chimneys are falling. Well, that chimney isn't working because we got a tree growing up here. And this is a common thing right around here in Athens, and actually anywhere you go. I could drive down to, I can go down to Cole's hometown, Marietta, and start walking down the street and find probably 20 different things wrong right off the bat. Plug flue. This is one of the reasons we require people to take draft tests, make sure there's no spillage. And I know, you know, a lot of the inspectors out there, when they do their initial inspection, they're not going to pull that vent connector off there to check that. Okay. But, you know, that's why we want you to take a draft test. If you have any inclinations, you can have the contractor and or heating technician, you know, tell them pull it off there and check it. 90%. This is the stuff, this is the mortar and stuff that was coming out of here, now laying down here. And again, this is a tile line chimney, but the unit that's attached to this chimney, this tile liner was not sized for whatever's attached to it, or there would not be any moisture. So basically, by the time the flue gases try to get to the top, they're condensing back into moisture and running right back down. Then you got critter problems. If Dave was here, he'd be getting his gun out right now. Get the live trap out, I mean. This is bad when you start having things looking back at you. You can keep warm. Now, explain to me what I got here. Got a furnace connector, vent connector.
Dryer vented into a chimney.
I got a dryer vented in. Hey, well, at least it's the lower BTU is
Half right.
And you know what? Billy Bob's got a good idea. You see what this thing says? Drain. Okay. He found out that there was a problem with moisture in the chimney, so why not put something in there and drain it away?
Got a question here from her. Wants to know if you could explain the difference between a factory line chimney and the regular chimney.
Yeah, we got that coming up. Or I got some examples of liners for the oil and the. Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay.
Good question though. Now, unfortunately, you know, after 40 years of this, you think you're never going to run into anything. Yeah, believe me, if you ain't learning something every day, something's wrong. So yeah, if what Irv was asking there, we're going to have to remove this, line that chimney, and we'll show you what you can do with that down the road here. So how do we? Yep, there you go. How do we deal with these problems? Jim Bob to the rescue. Actually got a picture of Jim Bob now. Now the liner that had the raccoon in it and the moisture spots, that was what they call tile liner, and that would be you would actually install that while they were putting the chimney up. Now, technically, a tile line chimney, if you can prove that it's in real good shape, no cracks, and it's sized properly, is considered a line chimney. But in most cases, we can't inspect the entire chimney, so we just assume that it's not in good shape. And if it doesn't have a liner in it, it's required to be lined, and this is what you would be using. This is a liner, flexible liner kit. Well, these come in a couple of different sizes, 25 and 30. If you need more than 30, they come in, they sell a kit that comes in 10-foot sections at a time. It comes with a cap, and again, depending on the manufacturer, it may be a little bit different cap than this one. It comes with a top plate, which is almost never big enough. Anytime that you line a chimney with a liner, you have to cap the top of the chimney off. Okay, and a lot of people doesn't realize once you cap that chimney off, it no longer becomes a chimney. It is called a chase. You also have a mortar sleeve. This will go down there at the bottom of the chimney where you're bringing the liner out to keep the mortar off of the actual liner itself. Now, most generally, when you put these in, you're going to have to just throw this thing away and get a bigger sheet of metal. They usually almost, I don't think I've, maybe 10 out of a couple, 200 or 300 that I've done that I actually was able to use that for the right size. And a lot of times people don't realize if you have, and this is a sizing chart for flex vent. There's a couple, 3 or 4 different manufacturers out there of flexible vents. There's Z-Flex, there's Flex Vent, and a couple others. But anyway, they have their own sizing chart. It's got everything already derated to 20%. You can see on the table there, not very good, but you can see right there, it's already derated. All you got to do is come up with your numbers and single wall or double wall connector, and it tells you exactly what you need. Or you go to the NFPA 54 and you got to do a lot more calculating. So, and down the road, we'll go over all that stuff. Again, this is just to give you an idea. This is some of the stuff that you need to be concerned with, need to be looking at, and understand some of the parts and pieces before you start getting into the how to, why to, and how to get it done. So that's the back side of it there for single wall, or not single appliance. The other side was for double or 2 appliances. So again, I always went with manufacturer's instructions, and in this case, it was a lot simpler than going to the NFPA 54. Now, the one thing, and this is a cap of the actual flexi liner that we use down around here. Now, this is the bottom of where the liner comes out. This is a mortar sleeve right here. This is part of my flexible liner. If that chimney is lined all the way to the top, should there be any mortar inside the chimney or liner? No. And this again is where we always tell the initial inspectors, you want, if it's already got a liner in it, or it looks like it may have a liner in it, have the technician and or contractor remove the connector and look inside to check to see if this is a problem. Okay, if this is a problem, that means somewhere all the way up that chimney there's a break. Okay, and most generally, people I talked to that automatically told me they hated chimney liners is because they didn't install them properly. You stretch them too much, they break. You pull them too hard, yank on them too hard, going up some of these chimneys, they get snags in them, and sooner or later they're going to fail. I've probably got, I'm going to say, a couple of hundred chimney liners that I put in my lifetime, and not a one of them failed. I even had to get the old grandma in a wheelchair to help me put one in one time.
Jim, can I interject for a moment with I just wanted to point out too, on every level, inspector, technician, I've seen dozens of times where they've had a chimney liner just jammed into the chimney in the basement, but and they either fooled a building inspector, a service tech, somebody, but you know, and then it's been assumed that that chimney was lined. So you have to be very careful and confirm that they didn't truly install a liner. I've seen that a few times.
Yeah, well, that comes right into play, Ryan, with this piece right here. If they try to do something like that, that moisture that's not getting out of the chimney like it's supposed to, it's going to eat that liner up. Okay. And if you pull it up through and break it, that's the start of this liner getting chewed up. And this is an example of one that I've removed. All right. It's bad because it was installed badly. So yeah, that's what I say. If there's a liner there, don't just assume that it's going all the way to the top, because there's maybe missing about 20 feet in between. I always, even in my business, if there was a liner existing, I would pull the connector off and take a look. And if I had to, I'd head to the roof and pull the cap off. And 99 times out of 10, there was a liner there, but every once in a while you found this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the contractor that goes out there and he buys a 30-foot, because I'm going to get the 30-foot because I can get 5-foot pieces out of that. And most contractors in this area at the time were charging anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 to line a chimney, and that was a typical 4-inch liner. I did it for $600 and made a killing. How often do corrugated chimney liners need to be inspected? Technically, if you read the instructions, which, I know that's hard. Actually, Jamie actually got a picture of me the other day reading the freaking instructions. I don't know what the heck's wrong with me anymore. This stuff must be getting to me too. But it says that it should be inspected once a year. Okay. How do you inspect it? Well, get the right tool. Remember me, I'm the guy that buys the right tools. No, I didn't buy that tool. Remove the connector, vent connector at the bottom, get your flashlight and mirror out, look up as much as you can, and then, hey, only other way to look at it is somebody's got to go on the roof. I know people going on roofs nowadays is getting a little bit hairy, but yeah, if you want to do your job right, sometimes you just got to do it, I guess. I wonder if that'd make a good fishing truck. Could lever me out over the. I don't think it'll float very good. All right, type B vent. That's the double wall pipe that we're most familiar with. Where and when to install, how to install, how to size, and briefly how to size. I don't know. Is there anything wrong here?
Too close to the house, you have to be 10 foot out.
I'll take that.
It's not high enough.
I'll take that. There's something that people really, really overlook a lot of times. That I'm getting close.
Windows are too close.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'm getting close.
It doesn't look like it has a proper thimble at the penetration of the wall.
It does not have the proper thimble. Thank you, Ryan. And this is where it's confusing, because they get those, you can go down to the hardware store and buy that little round flat piece of metal, got some ears on it to help hold it in the hole. It's just a cover plate. That's all it is. There is no clearance going through this wall. Okay, so yeah, and we need to have a proper thimble. And I've got an example of one down the road here. I don't know exactly when it's coming up. Too short, too close to the wires. What do you think? Now this is kind of misconceiving. Them wires are a lot further away than they look. Again, this is one, they just come out, put an elbow and a cap. Ain't gonna happen.
Looks like a mobile home.
No, actually, this is a commercial garage. They had a heater in there. But you can see the black that's starting there. What is the black stuff? What's that a sign of?
So incomplete combustion.
Carbon.
Carbon monoxide, carbon.
Carbon.
Yeah. Actually, I wish I'd have had the picture of the one I did down here at the Frito-Lay building. They installed a tube heater, natural gas tube heater, and forgot to change it over to LP, and I had to end up swabbing it like a shotgun. Hey, I got free Frito-Lay bags too. Sometimes you get perks. Now, Kevin might recognize this one if you're still on there. And this is actually vended this is a water heater vended at this little diner that I don't go into anymore. So yeah, we got a little bit of a problem. We don't have enough height. You seeing a pattern here? This is within a 25-mile radius of just walking around and driving around taking pictures.
Right up above that, sorry, that window there.
You really,
Space heater.
yeah, we got problems up here. We got problems right here. That's not tall enough. I think you'll enjoy the next slide. I don't know, my hourglass is hourglassing. Too short, too close to the windows. What do you think? I can see about 5 just real quick. They do have the escape ladder. How many things are wrong here? They got the smaller connector going into the bigger BTU. Ain't gonna happen. You can see that whatever they got going on here ain't working because of all the rust. Vent pipes don't rust. Okay, you got a piece of galvanized pipe with an aluminum inside piece that is designed to be outside and not the rust. What do you think's causing the rust? It's the acidity of the gas moisture from the flue gases. Now, here's a proper way, and I give it to the local HWAP Community Action Agency here. I got a couple pictures of it. This is where they actually took and boxed in the B vent because it's on the exterior of the wall and insulated the pipe so that it stays warm, and that's a good job right there. Good example of how to close in B vent. There's another one up in Nelsonville, Ohio. They took out the old furnace, put in a 90 plus, left the water heater vented, and built a nice little box around it, put a new flashing on it, and took care of it. Here's some of the ceramic B vent blanket. Technically, you could just wrap fiberglass around it, but they also have a blanket that you can order. That's one of the things that the quality control inspector needs to really look at, because a lot of times they'll box them in and not insulate it. All right, single wall, some clearance problems, locations. Me, on this particular one, I'm kind of concerned that they don't have a 6-inch minimum clearance on the single wall to the combustible, but my real concern is the plumber. I think the plumber is going to burn it down before the vent connector does. Now this is right up the road. I don't know where they was thinking of, see, put my vent out here and hang a light on it so I can see the vent. Not work. Wonder if that's fire rated Romex. Did they make that? And why do you think somebody would do this?
They had a box full of elbows in their truck.
Well, I'll take that. How to fix a draft problem? Add more elbows. This was the draft was real high on it. The only thing they could come up with was they knew that if you add more elbows, it adds more resistance. Well, let's put some more elbows in there and see what happens. We ain't there. We ain't lacking work out there, guys. We just ain't we ain't lacking it. We got all kind of things going on here. And what do you do with the sewer pipe? You use it as a hanger. And we still can't get it straight. We start off here, up, down. And if I could have blowed the picture up a little bit more, you could see where this was all melting right there. Single wall pipe in the attic, come across it a lot of times. It's not allowed. And one of the reasons it's not allowed is the attic's going to get cold. That single wall pipe's going to get cold. That's why we use what we call the B vent, which is referred to as insulated pipe. Unless they thought that light bulb was going to heat the attic, I don't know. Here's some of that oval vent, and this is with them wall furnaces. I forgot, I was going to put that up there with the wall furnace and forgot, but this happens with these wall furnaces all the time. People, they have a hard time putting the oval vent together, making sure that it's okay. Yep. Looks like break time. Give me, let's say, about 10 till. Give you about 10 or 15-minute break real quick. All right, guys, I'm back. Okay, let me see. Where was I? Direct vent systems. And again, this is just a quick overview of everything that we're going to need to be talking about down the road. This thing keeps going. We'll be able to do some short snips on how all this stuff works and how to size up a lot of stuff. This is just a direct vent space heater. Direct vent means 100% of the flue gases are exited to the outside, and 100% of the combustion air is brought from the outside through an inner pipe or the outer pipe here. Now we can look at the 90 plus furnace. This is called a direct vent 90 plus furnace because 100% of the flue gases are going out and 100% of the combustion air is being brought back into it. Now, whenever HFLAP installs a new 90 plus furnace, they're required to put 2 pipes. That requires it to be a direct vent. Now, in some cases, when we go out and we find a 90 plus that was installed by a contractor that wanted to do it a little cheaper, it would be only 1 pipe on it, and the combustion air would be coming in from the basement. That would be a non-direct vent 90 plus now because it only has 1 pipe on it. If you choose to, you can add that extra pipe if you find it that way. I would highly recommend it. We always tell people when we're doing our training, anytime you can add that extra pipe, put it in there and get that way we get rid of a hassle down the road. We don't have to worry about not having enough combustion air. Direct vent 90 or water heater. There's quite a few different types of them out there. This is an actual 90 plus one. It has a motor. It's got the exhaust going out and fresh air coming back in. Rather expensive tank. This is one that I've been. I put them in. Helped put them in back in the 90s for the Warm Choice program. But at that time, this vent connector, which is a concentric flue, was only about 20 inches long. You didn't have a whole lot of choices of where to put them. Nowadays, this has, you can buy these direct vent water heaters, which have no working motors or anything like that on them. And you can get this connector up to, what is it, 12 feet now, I think, Jamie? Yeah, it's in some cases the manufacturer is 8 and sometimes it's up to 12 feet. A much better option for, I'm going to say the low income. We don't have to worry about that motor going bad for the power vent. And again, it's 100% direct vent. We got air intake here from the outside and exhaust going out through the middle here. When you start dealing with direct vent appliances, you got to have vent clearance. It's based on the BTU size of the unit, NFPA 54. The section may not be right. Again, I didn't get a chance to look that up. This was a previous version, so that section number probably isn't right. And again, there's not, lack of work out there from Billy Bob, Uncle Joe's, and all them out there doing this kind of work. Too close to the wall, we end up burning something down there. People wonder why houses burn down. Yeah, I don't know. This is a picture of a concentric fluid that you could use for the 90 plus instead of having 2 pipes running all the way out. This is the combustion air comes from the outside, goes in here, runs back through the furnace here, and this would be my flue gas. It would run straight through here and come out the end. When they finally come out with that, I worked on a lot of, and you guys do too, a lot of old homes, 3 strict brick concrete foundations. It's better to knock a 4-inch hole, 1 4-inch hole, than it is to have to do 2-inch or 3-inch holes. And these vent a lot better going up through the roof. I really like the guy. Really did a good job. He sealed it all up. Got the nice little distance there so the air for combustion can come in. But he'd check above grade clearance. Does anybody know what that clearance is? I'm eating a piece of candy, so I'm having a hard time talking right now. So
12 inches.
12 inches above anticipated snow.
I'll take both of them. Good job. Let me quit eating candy. If I keep eating candy, you guys are gonna have to answer a lot more questions. Yeah, NFPA, and again, when we're dealing with codes issues out there, everything's minimum clearance. Manufacturer may may say more. If they do, you want to go with PMI, which is per manufacturer's instructions, or you want to go with local code, because again, and we always pick on Ashtabula. Sorry, you get up around Ashtabula, I'm going to take the anticipated snow level. Well, if you get anywhere above I-70, I'm going to take the anticipated snow level. And this is kind of weird because, well, you guys know how a mobile home furnace vents on the top of the mobile home. We've had a couple of times where the snow was high enough that, you know, it's smothered out people's furnaces, because, you know, we don't anticipate 2 or 3 feet of snow all the time around here. I thought this would be kind of, I don't know. We have venting issues, but we got a whole lot more going on there than venting issues. Okay, this would be a 90+ 1 pipe non-direct vent appliance, vented into a masonry unlined chimney, with at least a 1 1/4 roll of duct tape. And seeing that they thought that, I don't mind the duct tape. Look, they took a test on it. There's some silicone where they took the test. I wonder what kind of readings they got. The duct tape ain't too bad here, but they figured, hey, if that works there, let's fix this rotted vent and we'll just duct tape it up. Yeah, the person that did this should be thrown in jail, locked up, and fed, yeah, vent water and bread. Again, not a very good picture, but this is a pellet stove that was installed by somebody that didn't know what they were doing. And this was a typical probably homeowner. Okay, didn't realize the black was soot, which is carbon monoxide. You can notice even the windows are open. Yeah, it's a wonder more people aren't dead out there. Again, this is the great city of Athens. All I got to do is go uptown, park. Hopefully I don't get a parking ticket, and just start walking around. Nice job strapping it in. He even put a little bit of foam tape stuff there, foam pipe wrap on it to keep it from vibrating. Didn't want to hear that noise. This is the exhaust. You can see where the flue gases have been rusting, interacting with the copper pipe and brick. This is my intake. This is a dryer, which would be sucked right up into the intake, back down to the furnace. This is an exhaust pipe to another one. I have no idea where the intake pipe for that one is. I think they ran out of pipe, so they just went ahead and that's it. They just run out of pipe. So hey, you got enough pipe, don't worry about it. And this is something that happens a lot and people don't realize it. They get things too close together. I've seen these freeze up and start freezing back the pipe. That will shut down the furnace. Now the problem with this here is this could actually recirculate. Flue gases come out of here, and that's mainly what's going on here is, and people don't realize, is the flue gases coming out of this particular unit on this concentric vent is being sucked right back into the combustion air, and that's already it's already coming out condensing at 100 and some degrees.
Got a question from Mike Lehman here. He is wanting to know what clearance from the intake valve there on the concentric vent of the house.
There you need to be about 3 inches there, and again, that's where the instructions come in. Used to be one manufacturer that made this concentric vent, and now there's 5 or 6. So we got one. I don't know where it's at, but yeah, you don't want it right up against the house, or we're not going to be able to get no air to come in there. That's a really good question, Mike. The ones that I used was 2.5 inches. Now, I don't know. Find out whatever you got in your area. Look it up. Google it. Google will give you an answer. So this is the problem here. They're just too close. Okay, so we're recirculating it, and this is hard on, and that's going to freeze up and shut this furnace down. It's probably a good thing they got 2 furnaces in the house. Here's another problem. Actually, this might have been another one of them. I don't know if Kevin's still on here, but he gets me in trouble every time I go out taking pictures with him. we do a drive-by, take a picture, and we get shotgun just pointed at us. Sometimes, and in some areas of Athens County. Anyway, this is I knew the contractor to put this in because I actually bid on this job. I didn't get it, but guess who went back to work on it? It's 90 plus. He put a Janotrol in it. It required 3-inch venting. He brought it. I think that was about 4 foot up, and this one was about 3 foot up. And the problem with that, it's not much of a problem with the intake. The problem is the flue gases that's coming out of this pipe are already, without being exposed to the outside air, at around 110, 120 degrees. And you start pushing 120 degrees into a 3-inch pipe that's sticking 4 feet in the air at 30 degrees, it's going to start freezing up. And the complaint I got after they found out that they couldn't get a hold of the guy that actually put it on was my furnace keeps shutting down. Well, when I went out, I knew exactly what it was. I went up, whacked them off, and put them at the right height, or put them as per manufacturers. The manufacturer had they don't tell you to do crap like this. This is a contractor that's shoving up what he's got, and instead of cutting it off, just put a cap on it, be gone. Yeah, they got it done cheaper, but me going up there and cutting that pipe off wasn't real cheap. Again, too close to the dryer vent. And I keep reiterating this because this is some of the stuff that we miss. And the more that we are, if we do the ashtray stuff with these little torpedo ones, we're bringing air into the house. You got to be real careful not to be bringing it in around, vents, furnace vents or exhaust vents, or anywhere close to a driveway where there might be a car. I really love this one because I went up a couple, 2 or 3 times. I wanted to try to catch the gas meter guy that was reading the meter while I get a picture of it. Why would this be a problem? Anybody know that? Why would this be a problem? Do gas meters leak a whole lot? Sound like crickets to me.
Could you repeat the question, please?
This is a 90+ furnace. Okay, why would this be a problem being vented next to a gas meter? Do gas meters leak a lot?
Yes.
Well, the meters usually don't leak, but
Looks like it's located next to a driveway.
it was, which is not normally good.
Well, let's just say there's the potential for.
I'll take that, but what I want to point out here is, you see that regulator right there? Anytime you have a regulator, this means it's medium or high pressure, okay? There's a vent at the bottom of that regulator, and the reason there's a vent is regulators vent. Okay, and in most cases, they're going to vent gas out, and if it's sucking that in at the same time, there could be a fire that could turn into a potato gun with fire coming out of it. And the reason I bring this up is I see a lot of gas meters that are installed next to air conditioners and heat pumps, and if they are, they're supposed to, this is actually a threaded fitting here. If you take that screen off, there's threads on there, and you can thread a piece of a male adapter in there, and you can take a pipe and vent that away so that it vents away from stuff that could happen. Make sense?
Yes.
And these are just little things that people overlook because we don't think things like that. The only reason I know it is once I started my business and I got into having to replace service lines, the line from the curb to the meter itself, is I got schooled with the Columbia Gas guys. Now, this is the ultimate mobile home vent. Mobile home on wheels. I didn't have time. I was going to put on here Jim's bus. And again, just going to touch on some stuff, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, get you guys a little bit curious. And then down the road, we'll start showing you how to apply some of this, checking out, make sure things work, make sure their size right and what to look for. Oil, well, good luck. Let me go back. Oil venting, you're going to have what they call L vent, and I wasn't able to find a picture right away. Well, actually, I got the picture and I didn't have time to put it in here. It's what they call, it's galvanized on the outside. It's kind of like the B vent, but it's also, instead of aluminum on the inside, the L vent is stainless steel. If you have to revent an oil furnace with a L vent, you will need to check them parts out ahead of time because they're not usually readily available. And Jamie will show you a piece of that if you can see it.
Oh, no,
Yeah, we'll see. See pretty good. All right, so if you have to vent it with the L vent chimney, you will need to go to the supply house and order it ahead of time because normally the supply houses don't carry that particular size, 5-6 inch for oil. Now you can get it for your pellet stoves. They use L vent for that, 3 and 4 inch. There's not too many oil furnaces out there that you're going to be venting with 4 inch. I have some down the road here, but I'll mention it. Most oil furnaces that I've come across have been vented into a chimney, masonry chimney. I would just end up lining that with a stainless steel chimney liner. It'd be the same as the gas liner, except they're actually made out of stainless steel. Rather expensive. You can pick one up for around a typical size for about $600. But it's sometimes a lot easier and cheaper than the L vent. Wood stoves, we don't work on wood stoves a lot, but I'll give you a couple ideas what you should be looking for if we're going to be leaving them there. You got the fancy ones. Got the nice little brick hearth there, and no clearance problems on the chimney. I don't know what happened here. It looked like it was designed that way. Maybe they just need that a little bit of a right hook. I don't know. This is one, and Kevin might recognize that one too. It's right next to the Trimble Kroger's. Not anymore. I think they sold the house and sold the wood stove and the vent pipe. Really nice job. They got the little T. They got the support there. They got the right brackets. The only thing they forgot was they might have wanted to put a thimble here, unless there wasn't no clearance issues. I don't know. I couldn't get all the way up there to find out. But here's what that should look like. You got your T bracket, support bracket. Okay, and the reason you have this is supposed to be a T connection right here when it comes out, because that is designed to be also the clean out. Okay, this is showing that this is inside of a boxed in chimney, but underneath of here, there's a cap. You can pull that cap off and clean that chimney out. That's why that T is supposed to be there. Okay, and this support is designed so that you can get to that cap without having to remove anything. Got the proper wall thimble. And wall straps. Again, you can do, if you're going to do a job, do it right. This is stainless steel on the outside. You should be using stainless steel straps that come with it. Oops. And the chimney cap with what they call spark arresters. I don't know if I have a picture of one in here. Might have to redo this whole PowerPoint. Anyway, the spark arrestor, what they're talking about is it's a piece of stainless steel wire mesh that goes around the actual top of the cap, so that if any sparks come out, it tries to catch those sparks to keep it from going out on the roof and catching the roof on fire or the surrounding area. If anybody out there is a four-wheeler or ATV, motorcycle, trail rides, you cannot ride any of them on any ATV park area or anything without having a spark arrestor on the muffler. Ask me how I know. Sometimes you just got to find out the hard way. Sir, could you come over here? Yes, sir, master. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, sir. Again, we got, if you're going up through the roof, they got a support bracket that goes in there. This is the actual flashing, and that little ring that goes around the top of that flashing, that's called a storm collar. It's on your any type of venting that you use if you come up through the roof. Okay, and that storm collar is there to direct the rain away from your flashing itself. I don't know, how well can you guys see that on there? Yeah, pretty well. See mine with this thing keeps getting I can't see the cat. My, and every time I move, it drops down. All right, so you can see the actual spark arrestor type up there on the cap itself. All right, so this is if we're inside and we're coming straight off of the wood stove. They make what they call a ceiling support package. So, you know, all in all, do some research and make sure that you buy the correct stuff. The 24 gauge steel single wall pipe, we refer to it as black pipe. What we usually run into is the blue pipe, which is a 30 gauge, if that, blue pipe that you can just mash in your hand. This 24 gauge steel pipe, you ain't crushing it. It's designed to be there for a lot longer time because it can handle the temperature. The blue pipe that they go down to the local hardware store is a cheap version. They're able to go ahead and buy it once a year because it don't last more than a year. Now, one thing, let me see, just real quick. Nope, let me go back. With wood stoves, if you've ever put a single wall pipe starting off, you'll notice that the back of the stove or the flue connector, which is whether it's on the back or the top of the stove, is designed so that the crimped end of the pipe fits into your stove, not the other end. It's that way because when we burn solid fuels like that, we have what we call creosote is formed. Creosote is like a liquid. It will run back down into the stove and burn. If you turn the pipe and have the crimped end going up towards the ceiling, it will leak and run down the side of the pipe and catch on fire. Creosote is highly flammable. That's what happens with your chimney fires is if you do not clean your chimneys once a year, that creosote builds up. And then one year when you get a good stoking fire going, it catches the creosote on fire. And once that happens, you ain't putting her out. You just might as well go outside and get the marshmallows out because it's gone. All right, so the stainless steel triple wall pipe is what you're going to need to be using once you exit the pipe or your single wall pipe going through the ceiling, through the wall on the outside. It's stainless steel on the outside, it's stainless steel on the inside, and some of it's actually has insulation stuffed inside of it. There's a couple, 2 or 3 different versions of it out there. The clearances, it's PMI, whatever the manufacturer that makes it. Pay attention to what they want. Don't listen to anybody else. Just pay attention to the PMI. I'm pretty rough here this morning. All right, just a quick, and like I say, one of the purposes of some of this stuff is we want to get you interested. We want to let you know what we're doing, and down the road we can come up with some stuff to actually start showing you how to size stuff. But this is a quick version of it. First, you need to know what category appliance it is. I'm running out of breath there. Okay, you got 4 different categories. I ain't gonna go into them right now. When we do our thing, we'll put up on the board and talk about the 90 plus, the 80 plus, and what categories they are. Another thing, you need to be familiar with the data plate. We need to know how many BTUs the unit is. Okay. And then there's a quick chart in there to connector diameter, maximum in inches, how long it can be in feet. And again, we're just going to touch on a couple little things here. See, a 4-inch should be no more than 6 feet. Why is this? Come here, James. Give me a second here. I got. When I move this thing, man.
Yeah, that's their bar there.
I gotta
now,
keep
so-
it from moving because it covers up my stuff.
They can't see it on.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's covering some of my stuff. Okay, they can't see it. All right. Never mind, you ain't seeing it. Just a real quick, we this is a handout we hand out, but and all this information is in the book. It's telling you, when I'm using these vent sizing charts, the elbows, you're allowed 2 90-degree elbows per heating unit every 90. After that, will be require a 10% reduction. So basically, whenever I'm using these vent charts, they're assuming that there's going to be probably 2 90s in that vent somewhere. Okay, and they're pretty much right. But if you go over that, then they're giving you some reductions after you go over that. And again, it's like with the corrugated chimney liner. I showed you the one that I had. I actually got a venting chart from the manufacturer. Now, if I didn't have that venting chart, I would actually have to go with this corrugated chimney liners in the NFPA 54. And it says you must allow a 20% reduction for chimney liner whenever it is used in the masonry chimney. You do not count the 90-degree if it is made using the chimney liner at the bottom of the run, the corrugated metallic chimney liner. So basically, I got to do a little bit of math calculation to make this work, or I could actually use their chart. I like using their chart, but we show you how to do this that way. If you don't have the chart, you'll be able to do it. And again, it's just, here's some of the rules that we're going to be talking about down the road. Here's an example. This is what we use in the class. We come up, we got a single appliance, we got a 15-foot height on the vent. Our vent itself is B vent. Okay. The connector lateral, which is 5 foot here, is from here to here. Now these are again examples. When we use them right out of the NFPA 54 that way. You can always go back and reference it. So basically, we got a 15-foot height chimney with a 5-foot lateral. The vent materials B vent, and the vent connector here is single wall. The furnace is 75,000 BTUs, and it's a natural draft appliance. In other words, it's got a draft hood on it. When we go to the chart, and on this one, it doesn't say it, but it says on top, single appliance, single wall connector, B vent. Okay, and where most of the people make their mistakes is they forget to read the top of the chart. And again, this is just a quick overview of what we're going to be running, getting into down the road. So we said, what was that, a 15-foot height? And what was it, this is the height of my, right here, was a 5-foot lateral? Yep. The 5-foot lateral on the length of my connector. And it was a natural draft appliance, right? So I got nat, max, and then if it was a fan assisted or an 80 plus, it would be a minimum or maximum on the fan. So we come over and we had what, 75,000 BTUs. Okay, so it says in the 3-inch under that, it won't only handle 48, so it's not going to be big enough. So we go over to the 4-inch, it says it will handle 87,000 BTUs, or 87,000 BTUs. I'll get my arrow pointed right. Our unit was only 75,000, so that means I can vent that particular unit starting from the connector all the way up through the roof with a 4-inch B vent pipe. Okay, and that would be a 4-inch single wall connector connected into a 4-inch B vent. And it is kind of that basic, okay, but you still have to, understand some of the rules that go along with doing this. So let's just quickly go ahead and give you an example of 2 appliances. Okay, so again, we need to have the vent height, and we're going to need to do the this particular one here. The vent height is 15 feet. Okay, that'll be for both appliances. I have a 40,000 natural or draft hood appliance, and I got a 70,000 draft hood appliance. Okay, the vent connectors are single wall. The common vent, which is the vent here, is B vent. Okay, and instead of doing the lateral on the particular, when we're doing 2 at a time, or 2 or more, I should say, we need to know the connector height. So one's 2, one's 3. All right, and this is considered a manifold there. So what we're going to do now is we need the top chart in our book would be for the connectors, and then the bottom chart would be for where both of them go into the common vent. Okay, so we had what, 15 on the one, we had a 2-foot connector rise, and it was, what size was that? Anybody remember? 70,000. Okay, and then our second one, so it looks like both of them is going to be 4-inch. All right, so now that's the connectors only. Okay, so coming off of both appliances, it will be a 4-inch connector, and then we go down to our common vent where both of them is going to be at 15-foot height, and we add them together, we're going to need a 5-inch piece pipe. So that means the both connectors would be 4-inch, and then when we go into our B vent, we would be going into a 5-inch B vent. And again, just a quick down dirty. It's hard to do PowerPoints on the sizing charts because we're not allowed to do a whole lot with them. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll take some stuff off of Dave and Cool show, and well, we may even have the Dave and Cool show do it. I'm not sure, but either the Dave and Cool or the Jim and Jamie show we'll do some vent sizing. And have you guys done any combustion air stuff yet? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get some stuff up there. Try to get some more stuff out, and we still encourage anybody to, or everybody that, you know, if you got any ideas out there, throw them at us. Be more than happy to try to put anything out there you want, as long as we can get some stuff figured out and do it. And that's all I got for now. We got any questions over there, Jamie?
Got one here from Tom. It says, when contractors are lining a divided chimney, shouldn't they sheet metal over the entire top of the chimney?
Yes and no. If it's a divided chimney and if it has the chance of somebody or has something in both sides, they would not want to unless they're doing line both sides. Now, if they're only using one side and they're lining one side and the other side's not going to be used, they can cover it over, but they have to mark down at the bottom of the chimney that's been covered over that it has been covered over. Good question, Tom.
Jim, you kind of opened the floor, right?
So, I did. I fell right in it too.
Well, one thing that I'll mention just in the larger sense is for a reminder for everybody to watch out. You kind of just hit on it as far as if you cap the top of a chimney, you have to mark it below, right?
Yeah.
One thing.
The manufacturer of the B vent, on that collar or somewhere on there is a sticker that says this chimney has been lined and cannot be used. That has to be somewhere to where people can read it.
Right. And one thing I wanted to just point out, since it's just open discussion, watch out, guys, for chimney delete roof jobs, because a lot of times someone will get a new roof and they'll just go ahead and they'll dump the chimney into itself and sheet over it. And I have seen on more than one occasion appliance vented into that chimney that is now no longer a chimney, and the homeowner had no idea. So that's, just a reminder, on your visual, to make sure that the chimney's even still extending out of the roof.
Yeah, and I've seen that quite a bit too, Ryan. There, roofers come in, they tear the chimney down below the roof line, and well, guess what? All of a sudden, that's a great spot for them to throw all of their shingles and everything else in there too. Is that old chimney, and there's still a hot water tank or something like that vented into it. So that is something when out doing the inspections and everything, need to pay close attention to and make sure that is venting to the outside.
That's about all I had to add, because talk about a health and safety issue. I had the one situation where I was in a knee wall, a finished knee wall attic, and of course it was all bedrooms, and the CO ratings were just insane. And then I got to looking a little closer, and nice shiny new roof and metal roof. And I asked the client, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we had that replaced 3 months ago." And basically she was gassing her, children unaware, because because the layman doesn't always understand, right? She told him, just go ahead, throw them under, the roofers, okay, whatever. So yeah, that's just something to definitely be aware of.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ryan. I'm glad you brought that up. So,
Well, believe it or not, I'm still paying attention. Isn't that great?
All right, got anything else out there? Would you guys enjoy, well, as much as you could enjoy, going over vent tables?
Hey, Jim.
We're going to try to figure out if we can do this live.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to put it out there. I believe I called Jamie on this when it happened. It was probably about 1.5 years ago or so. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but you were talking about clay tile liners. Okay. On interior liners where clay tile, where they meet the 7 times rule. And I don't know if any inspectors out there have run into an issue with their local building code official. But there was a couple times that where Danny and I have changed out a furnace where you have an open hot water tank, and it's an interior chimney, and the clay tile that's there meets the 7 times rule, but the county inspector considers that a masonry chimney and will not allow us to leave that there. We have to line it on an interior chimney. So I don't know if any other inspectors have run into this situation or not, but I brought it to Jamie's attention, and Danny and I both know that inspector is wrong.
Well, actually, the inspector's right unless you're making
right
wrong.
Right. I mean, and unfortunately, we got to deal with
local guys going to get it every time. I tell people, in my line of business, when I did it, I bucked the system. It's not a real good idea to do, but that was me. Line the chimney, do whatever they want you to do, and a lot of people run into that.
Right.
Code officials have what they call their opinion.
Right, right. And unfortunately, you have to go by authority having jurisdiction. So
Exactly.
I mean, we even went down to the county office and we argued with the guy. We even showed him the 7 times rule and, you know, everything in the NFPA we could throw at him. And he uses the ICC.
Same
And
thing.
there's the same chart in the ICC as it
Right.
is in the
Right out of the NFPA 54.
Yes. Yes, but you couldn't tell this guy anything.
It,
So
it comes down to interpretation, and when it comes to code officials, unless you're willing to take stuff on, which I don't encourage, it's, you know, they're gonna win every time.
right, right. So I just wanted to point out to everybody, you know, watch your local building code official.
Well, yeah,
Some cases there aren't.
sometimes local jurisdiction is indeed the opinion of that inspector in that jurisdiction. And like Jim said, I think that's just kind of a pick your battles kind of thing.
Yeah, I always like battling with them because I got a chuckle out of it. Of course, when I started battling with them, it was back in the 80s, and I had 1980 code books, and they had 1950 code books, so it wasn't too hard for me.
Mhm.
Any other thing you guys are running into out there? And once again, you know, I've been here at the training center now going on 20 years, and I spent 10 years in the field of golf. I didn't learn all this. A lot of it I learned from listening to some of you guys when you come in for training. Some of the guys out in the field. Here's a better way of doing it, or no, you shouldn't be doing it this way. And then sometimes it was better my way.
Yeah, I don't have anything in the chat. No.
Well, once again, coming live from the OWTC here in Athens, Ohio.
Just one question popped in there from
We
Tom.
got one more question to go for.
What is your input when you have appliances going into an asbestos chimney? We are Warm Choice, do not use them anymore.
If you do not have to do anything with it, you leave it alone. If you have to do something with it, you do what is appropriate to handle asbestos. And we do not handle asbestos.
Abandon in place and revent pretty much is my take on it.
You try not to disturb, follow your protocol. Asbestos it is what it is. I've left a few of them out there. As a private contractor, I could pretty much do whatever I wanted as long as I was willing to take on that responsibility. But as agents, we need to follow few rules, and asbestos is one thing that we do not want to disturb. Unfortunately, that's another one of those, do we walk away or do we do something? Good question.
Anybody got anything else they would like to ask? All right. Tom said thank you.
All right. So, well, once again, I hope everybody stays safe. We're going to keep doing this as long as we can. We're going to probably have to start showing a few backup videos to give us time to take care of some more stuff. Once again, if you want to throw some stuff on those evaluations of what you'd like to see or any kind of input, it'd be much appreciated. And stay safe.
Yeah, and before I sign off here too, I want to go over for anybody that kind of logged in just a little bit late. The reason why you got 2 invitations yesterday, you got the one for today's session and one for Friday's session. Terry's planning on doing something a little different tomorrow, and she needed some time there to work that, so we had to set up the session for Friday there yesterday. So hopefully that didn't confuse anybody. But I think you guys are all smart enough to figure that out. So with that being said, hope everybody has a wonderful day and enjoys themselves.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, guys.
The conversation, I think, was about the best part of it, you know, just the back and forth. And so thanks to all for being able to do that.
What's up?
Have a good one.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's what people value the most is just being able to listen to somebody talk about something that's super focused and not all the other shit.
That's why I think, just